Yo,
Shoot, we live?
Twitch says we live.
How we sound?
How do we sound? I got UFC going in the back. I'll pause that. Fuck it.
Eh. Come on, Twitch. I know you're there.
How do we sound? How do we sound? Decent, I guess.
Hey, it's not the best. I mean, it's not like it's FL Studio. I don't have full control over the audio, so. But hey, we out here. I got my mic set up. We're gonna soundproof this whole garage, and this is gonna be basically the whole booth. We're gonna have rugs and shit. But yeah, you know what we about out here. We about to cook up some heat.
Dangerous is my advice. My empire strikes with the take heed to the apostles' warning.
I lust the cause, but I see niggas smile up and take care of my body.
Yo, Thun, I got a story. I was born, I'll draw first. I had this full clip shut down. Speakers the phantom. We flushed through.
The beat is sicker than the blood in your villain man never
Need 7.
get low. Nah.
Damn, it's just being slow. That means we fucking drink. me show you a little trick that I like to do. When you have your shit, so basically we got Sad Boy B Part 2 and Sad Boy B. Sad Boy B is the original track that I have time shifted and pitch shifted. This one is one that I made unique as a sample, so I have reset the time and the pitch so that we can re-manipulate it again. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pitch it up another whole octave. Set it. Let's do half beat. And then do this. And then stretch it. So we were at 2 on the time stretch. What we're going to do is we're going to stretch it to 6. Because that'll get us to double time. If you look, oh shit, no, my bad. My fault. It was hard for me to see. We're going to set it to 4. I don't even know why I thought 6 sounded right in the first place. That does not sound right. At 4, we're at double time. But now what we're going to do is take all of these parts that we sliced apart and do them back on beat, or pull their tails back to where they end on beat. And it'll sound in key. It's a little trick that I like to do when we have the need of a change of pace, or more ear candy, as I like to call it. But another trick I like to do, I'm also going to be doing this on this beat. We'll make another unique, so we have part 3, part 2, and the unnamed part. So now, after resetting the time and the pitch, we're going to go to beat. Just because it's easier. You could also do this. Nope, you cannot. Yep, beat, and then do every other beat. And then we will go into our miscellaneous functions. Click C6. What this will do is it'll pitch it down. So if you see, if I go to C4, it pitches it up. C5 is our root note for this sample. So if we do C6, it will move the root note to C6 and pitch it down to C5, if that makes sense. Generic bleeding, just because it makes it easier, makes it sound cleaner. Not sure if you guys heard that, but I'm doing an EQ. Show you guys another trick. So we got our root note for this sample was B. I'm assuming B minor. So let's pitch it up. I forgot where it was. 400 cents. So we do C, C sharp, D, D sharp. Almost forgot what comes after B. That's our, we're at, I already forgot. D sharp. Minor, I'm assuming. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sample. EQ some bass out of it. And then we're going to take an auto tune. Any can work. If you have the full version of FL Studio, you can use Pitcher. I have auto tune access. It's basically just the bare bones of Antares auto tune. It does what I need it to. I have no business getting anything more. Because if you want to look for a free tuner, you can find it. There are decent free tuners out there. And if you're looking for more professional, I would pay for the Antares auto tune. But if you're just looking for the formant pitcher of auto tune, you can find free formant pitchers that work better than auto tune, in my opinion. So let's see, our key is E flat minor. It doesn't sound as crisp as it usually does, so let's set it to chromatic, which is the whole keyboard, and see if it can tune it into a pleasant sound. Sometimes it can. Chromatic worked. It adds just a little bit of a detune to it. And we're going to add some more detune. But we're going to dial the mix knob to about 50%. And then just to glue it all together, we're going to have a compressor. We've got some clicks going, so an easy fix for that is to take everything that you've chopped up, assuming you're doing sampling and not using the piano roll. You're just going to do it. So if you look on the new update of FL Studio, it snaps just ever so slightly. Like if you're over here doing this, it doesn't even look like it snaps. But if you're doing just enough to get rid of that click, just do that first snap on each side of that sample. And it happens so fast that you usually can't notice it. Unless on this one, come on, get the whole track. It's pretty abrupt, so we're gonna have to do some more. And it's that easy to get rid of some clicks. I hate clicks with a passion. If you have them on your beat, you're trash. I don't care who you are. It's easy. We got another click. That's what we're gonna do. Just like that. This is where I heard the click. No more click unless I stop the music. Then it doesn't count. Now let's do some sampling. if you are someone like me and you do not have any plugins except for your various ones that you have purchased throughout the years or collected because they're free, the only plugin you should have, actually plugins, I like 2 plugins, Surge and Vital. Sound font player, pretty good, but sound fonts are kind of trash now. They used to be decent, now they're not. We just have capabilities much more beyond sound fonts, and it's not openly accessible to the normal person like a sound font is. Sound fonts have been around for so long that people have made open source versions, and I've even made my own sound fonts. It's not hard to do for someone who's technically inclined. So what we're going to do is stick to sampling. So we're going to take one of these sounds. I like this one. Come on. That's our sample. We're going to get the entirety of it. We're going to make that unique as a sample. Now there's 2 things that I'm going to do here. We're going to make this playable by finding the note and putting it into our piano roll and playing it. And the other thing we're going to do, which I'm going to do first, so we're going to grab a fruity granulizer. That is a sampler. Actually, that is GMS. We want granulizer, if my blind ass can find it. Still GMS. There it is. Fruity granulizer. What we're going to do is we're going to take this, add it to the granulizer. Now this is just basically the most badass sampler ever. So we're going to go into our, forget what this is called, channel rack, and we're going to open up. In my case, I'm going to do an FL keys because it's easier. I've done it so many times. I know FL keys sounds like shit, but it's in tune enough for my ears. If you are more perfect, you can use Vital or Surge and just get a, or even 3X oscillator, Citrus, anything that can give you a basic oscillator with a perfect tone, then you can do what I'm about to do. But for my case, shitty ass piano works fine. I'm even gonna go the extra step and use my keyboard. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna do C and C. We're gonna go into our piano roll. Now you see that it plays, should play both of them. Pattern. There we go. Looks like we're very close. C sharp it looks like, just to check. Octave up. If it still sounds good, you're doing good and you're not tricking yourself. If you want to do even a triple check, down 5 semitones, you're going to end up at a major 7th. So, if we were a C sharp, we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 5th. I think, I don't know music theory. 5 up or 7 up. There's your C sharp major. There's your C sharp minor, which I'm pretty sure we're closer to. So this would be a minor chord. I think this is called something. Okay. Anyways, C sharp is our key here. So we're going to go back to our granulizer and go into one of these two, either your envelope or your miscellaneous functions. Set it to C sharp. Now, should be in key no matter what we do. At least, as long as we place it on the same notes as the scale. You guys know what I'm talking about, hopefully. If you're not, I'm sorry. Now what we're going to do is going to up the attack, up the hold, grain spacing, we'll just adjust a little bit, and wave spacing, we'll pull just a little bit back. See how it makes it just a little bit longer? Let's use regions, let's see what that does. I'm not entirely sure. Makes it better. There we go. So what I was doing basically is I was just adjusting the grain spacing and the wave spacing until I found what I thought was the longest possible note that I could create with the granulizer. And then what I did is I just adjusted the depth until it sounded pleasant. And what that did is that made it so it can be played as a sustained note. For example, it's a lot longer than what it was. So now what I've done is I have set it to loop, which if I turned it off, it would sound like this. See how it fades out into that clicky mess? Now if I click loop, it continues, which we're trying to make an atmosphere, which is exactly what we want. And then I've just clicked hold all the way up and then detect. And that just makes it so it can tell when you're trying to sustain a note. And then all we're going to do is we are going to go to reverb, turn the dry down pretty far, and turn the wet up. Not all the way. And then we'll add some stereo separation. I think 35 to 50 is pretty good. I'm going to do about 38. Now I have this atmosphere. Just like that, we've made an atmosphere. On what I like to call the chorus, some people like to call it other things. It really doesn't matter. If you have that on your chorus and it sounds wider, people are going to notice that it's the chorus. And it's going to be more likely to be written as the chorus. It just depends. You always want to assume that the person you give your beat to is going to chop it up into the way that they want it to play out. So now what I'm doing is I'm making a similar sounding lead line with less high end and just slightly more bass and not detuned. It just lets everything continue nicely, in my opinion, because we're also going to have this down here. It makes that lead line not as destructive on this bass line right here and this lead line that we have as well. I guess you can call this a rhythm if you're thinking guitars. This is our rhythm. So we've got 2 rhythm lines. We've got a mid bass line and our lead and background. With the drums are simple. I just threw that in because it was kind of a cool line. So now I'm going to show you guys another trick. Before I go on to the bass, I like to do the drums. It lets me kind of gauge. So I do everything backwards. That's just how I am. But to gauge how the drums would sound. In this case, I started with the drum loop first, which I usually don't do drum loops because I always do my own drums no matter what. Every once in a while I get lazy and I do a drum loop, but there's almost always more percussion to it, and the drum loop is just kind of a percussion. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a vinyl. We're going to turn the warp up pretty high. We want every single drum hit to sound different than the next. And then we're going to do about 50% wear. This is going to put our current drum loop in the background, but still make it sound audible. Now, I'm going to go over to one of my own sample packs, and we're going to do a trap sounding, like a modern trap sounding drum kit with a boom bap old school, like swinged beat. And you'll see what I'm talking about. Go with this snare. Put the snare right here. Sounds good in the mix so far. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it crunchy. So we're gonna pitch it down. It's hitting pretty hard. We're gonna boost the shit out of it and turn that normalize off. That's hitting hard, but we're gonna clip it. Makes it crunchy. Then we'll turn down the volume because we made our snare a lot louder and then distorted it. You don't want this distorted mess right in your face. It just overpowers everything. So we just want to put it just slightly in the background. Just like that. Now I'm gonna use the kick. I want the kick for this track to be bassy but subby at the same time. So we're not gonna have just a subby thump. So we're gonna make it low. Give it its own mixer track. Perfect. And then we're gonna push it just a little bit offset. But we're gonna do that after we build the drum line, just so we can make sure that each kick hits at the same offset. It just sounds cleaner, in my opinion. And we're gonna make our own drum loop. So we're gonna do similar to what they have here, but we're gonna add more kicks, basically. And just like that, we have made a drum loop. And then I just added a variation on the fourth measure. It just makes it sound a little nicer. It's not so repetitive. Yeah, now all we gotta do is push the kick to the same offset as our sample. And it sounds cohesive. I'm also gonna do a trap hi-hat. Oh, we're lagging. This is my favorite one from one of my packs. I don't remember if I released this one yet. Do a lot of shit. Make sure that one's... Just like that. Got our hi-hat line, and just to add the frosting on, we're gonna add a perk in the background. Actually, we could do this one as a crash as well. It's just got to be a very subtle crash, because it's very high-pitched. High-pitched noise. That's the one. Make sure it's offset with the same swing. Sounds like garbage. So what I'm gonna do is this. Basically what I did is I made an offbeat rim shot, and then I reversed what I called our symbol or crash, and I reversed it just so we can add a transition. I'll let you guys hear that. Got a cold air from outside. you know, for tutorial is not the greatest, but it's my best. So fuck you. I got a new tag that I'm probably gonna be dropping some shit with. I mean, kinda. I mean, I think I've dropped shit with this tag before, but I'm gonna start putting it in everything now. I got 2 tags now. If you don't like it, fuck you. Just like that. And now, I'm a lazy fuck, so let's do the bass in less than a minute. If my laptop will let me, hang on. It's loading. Just like that. Just like that, we have the most nasty bass ever. It sounds pretty awful, but we can EQ that. And then if you like me and you like to do the finishing touches, you take this piece of garbage that you made a couple months ago and take this piece of garbage you made a week and a half later. And then you just take this, turn that the fuck up. Then you activate it. You create an automation clip. Then you come over here and you activate this one and create an automation clip. What this does is it makes shit more interesting. Then we're going to take this value because it's 50%, and we're going to do this. Do that right there. And then we're going to do this over here. Then we're just going to leave that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to bar, take this slicing tool, and we're going to take that. We're also going to take this, but that's going to stay right there, and we're just going to use it after we use this. See what happens when we reverse this, just because I'm curious. 90% of me being curious about what something sounds like ends in garbage. But you gotta assume that the next time will be that 10%. If you do that every single time, you'll come across something heat. Also, if you do that every time, it makes more steps and you just gotta undo the button you did. But at the same time, it's super fucking easy to do. Watch this. Easy. Now we'll see what it sounds like. It sounds weird. Sounds very weird. So we're just gonna put it back the way it was.
shit.